What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and today we're continuing with the Madden 19, Madden 18 release of my rosters. Now, if you don't know what's going on, you can go check all the way back at the AFC East, where in the intro, I pretty much explain everything, or you can just check down in the video description. There's a quick little synopsis of everything you're going to see in these rosters. But ultimately, I'm releasing these not only to tease you guys and give you a little spoiler of what's in store, because just in case people are scared off from Madden 19, they're going to be back here on Madden 18. You need really good rosters, but I want to get your guys' feedback and make sure I have the best community rosters that you can download. So today we are taking a look at the AFC West, and you're going to start with the LA Chargers. So, looking right away at the quarterback spot, we gave Mr. Philly Rivers an 85 overall last season, 4,500 passing yards, 28 TDs, 10 picks, made the Pro Bowl. Now, he's one of the toughest quarterbacks just because it just doesn't have the success, like the wins and stuff like that a lot of the other QBs do. I think he is solid. I think he is still kind of underrated, even though he is 35. He's been here forever. Maybe it's just because he's a jackass. There's no way, even if you're a Colts or Chargers fan, clearly Rivers looks like an absolute dickhead. But 85, I think that's a good starting point here for Philly Rivers. I don't think you can find too much disagreeing there. At the running back spot, we gave Melvin Gordon an 88 overall last season, finished with almost 1,600 yards from scrimmage and 12 total touchdowns. Very productive runner. 88, good starting point. Eckler got a 77, Williams 69, Hansbrough 61. I think Eckler had 500 yards, 5 TDs as well for a rookie from a college not available. Fullback Watt, 57. Wide receiver, we gave Keenan Allen a 90 overall. I made the early claim that he was my comeback player of the year well before he dominated the Cowboys. Finished the year with 102 catches, 1,400 yards, and 6 TDs, so definitely deserving of a 90 overall. Tyrell Williams got an 81. I think he had 730 yards, 4 TDs. Benjamin, 77. Last year, Benjamin had 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. Mike Williams didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but, I didn't want to ding him too much because he had some injuries, so he'll be a 76. I think he had... I don't even think he had a touchdown last year. So not a great year for first-round wide receivers. Him, John Ross, Corey Davis. Tight end, we now have Hunter Henry. So we know Antonio Gates actually just got released. So they have Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry's taken over, and he is a very capable tight end. Almost 600 yards last year and 4 touchdowns on 45 catches. You have Virgil Green coming over to help out some blocking from the Denver Broncos. On the offensive line, we have Okuda got a 77, Dan Feeney 74, Mike Pouncey 76, Forrest Lamp 78, and Joe Barksdale with a 73. Offensive line is, you're optimistic that guys like Lamp, Feeney, and, they can develop, and Pouncey can return to his previous form and stay healthy. On the defensive side, Joey Bosa is getting a 91 overall, one of the most overpowered Madden guys over the last couple of years. And he's pretty goddamn overpowered in real life. Led the team with 12.5 sacks last year as a Pro Bowler. Just over 70 total tackles, 4 forced fumbles. He's a monster. Right defensive end is not too much worse either. Melvin Ingram, we gave him a 90. He had 10.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and just shy of 60 total tackles. Maybe 9's a little too generous. I was debating between 88 and 90. So Charger fans, what's a good rating here for Ingram? D-tackle, Luge, always going to pronounce it that way. He's getting 82. He got a suspension, but still is really good against the run. You have Mebane here, old as the days long. Outside linebacker, Kyle Emmanuel, 73. But we have Cheno Wosu, who I think was a second or third round pick out of USC. He is a 70. Middle linebacker, Right outside linebacker, we have Perriman, who we gave a 75. Jatavis Brown, who we gave a 75. I think both these guys still have their best football ahead of them. I don't know. Maybe you move Perriman into interior linebacker, and Jatavis Brown stays outside. That's probably what I would do with their depth chart. In the secondary, we have Casey Hayward, who has a 94 overall, which I think he is tied for the top corner. I don't want to spoil it. I'm 95% sure he's either my number 1 or my number 2 corner in the game. He's simply outstanding. Graded out outstandingly from Pro Football Focus. I was very surprised he wasn't first team All-Pro, but he made the Pro Bowl. He had 4 interceptions, 22 pass deflections, and 40 tackles. I bet the Green Bay Packers are still pissed off to let him go. Trevor Williams got an 86 overall last year. He had 2 picks, 13 pass deflections. Verrett, 84 overall. Pretty sure he got hurt. We have Desmond King, who's, probably more considered a safety, but he was listed as a corner. We'll just keep him as is. He had in only 4 starts, an interception, 5 pass deflections, 4 sacks, and 71 tackles. So, nickel corner. He can do it all. Great secondary, underrated secondary. We have Brandon Faison, who's a rookie, Virginia Tech. I think he was undrafted as well. Adrian Phillips here at free safety, 72. And at strong safety, we have Jaleel Adai, 83. Last year, I can't remember his stats off the top of my head, but he didn't have any turnovers, but he was pretty good at tackling. And then they got Derwin James, the first round pick. He is getting a 78. I don't know where they're going to play him. They could play him at free safety. They could have him playing a little bit of linebacker. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you move Derwin. You keep Derwin here at strong, and you move Adai to free. That'd be my guess. But we have to wait to confirmation on the depth chart. Charger fans, if you can clear it up, let me know. Kicker, we have Sturgis here coming from my Eagles, 79, really good kicker. And you have Kaiser here, 77 for a punter. So those are the Chargers. Now let's take a look at the Chiefs. All right, so taking a look at the Chiefs that had some turnover this year. They're going with Mahomes as their starting quarterback. He got accredited with a victory last year. Didn't throw a touchdown yet, but we'll give him a 76 overall. We won't be too horrendous on him, and he's going to be pretty much an exciting quarterback to play in Madden at least. I don't know what he's going to translate in the NFL. Running back, we have Kareem Hunt, 89 overall last year. Last year, he led the league in rushing yards. He had 1,300 rushing yards, 8 total touchdowns. Finished with almost 1,800 yards from scrimmage and 11 total touchdowns. So he's an absolute animal. My fantasy football team thanks you. Spencer Ware, 82 overall. I mean, for if he didn't get hurt, Spencer Ware could have had somewhat similar numbers. I don't think he's as good of a player as Kareem Hunt is, but we're not going to hurt his overall too much because he got hurt. He's still an 82. And you got a couple dudes here. They got a bunch of running backs. Fullback Sherman, one of the better fullbacks, so we got an 80. Wide receiver, we give Tyreek Hill an 87 overall. Last season, he finished with 1,200 yards from scrimmage and several total touchdowns. And I made sure he got the 99 speed. I know Madden always wants to give him 96, 96. No, he's getting 99. He's the fastest player I think I've ever seen in my life. Sammy Watkins coming over from the Rams. He gets an 82. You have Conley here. Demarcus Robinson finally starting to catch on a little bit. I think he had like 200 yards last year, 20-some catches. I'd like to see that. Tight end, Travis Kelce's getting a 94, which is the second highest overall out of any tight end, behind Gronk's perfect 99. Last year, Kelce finished with 83 catches for 1,000 yards and 8 total touchdowns. He's a mismatch nightmare. Even though he's a little bit of a cocky, arrogant asshole, he's a really, really good player. And there's the rest of the tight ends there. On the offensive line, we have Eric Fisher getting a 76, Cameron Irving at left guard, 68, Mitch Moore, 77, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, 80, and Mitchell Schwartz with an 85. Very solid offensive line here for the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, they ran the ball very, very well, and you need a good O-line to run the ball well. On the defensive side, we have Alan Bailey here, 73 overall. Ugh, not so hot. It's not a hot start on the defensive side. I think he had 2 sacks last year. Chris Jones at right defensive end is getting an 86. Finished with 6.5 sacks last season. Just over 30 tackles. Had 4 forced fumbles as well, and a pick. Defensive tackle, you have Xavier Williams. I don't know who's going to be the starter here, to be completely honest with you. So yeah, we gave him 74. Other side linebacker Justin Houston got a 92. 15 games last year, 9.5 sacks, over 50 tackles, 5 pass deflections. He's still an animal. I think last year was a little bit of him catching, back up to speed. I think we're gonna see another really dominant season from Justin Houston upcoming. Middle linebacker, no more. What's his name? Derek. No. Is it Derek? Derek Thomas? No, that's Derek Thomas is a legend. Derek Johnson. No more Derek Johnson. I think he signed for the Raiders. Might have to update that roster. But they got Anthony Hitchens. They paid him outrageous money for the Dallas Cowboys. He's at 81. Reggie Ragland here is at 78. Oh my God, I can't believe how much money they paid Hitchens. Right side linebacker D4 is getting a 74 overall. Last year, 2 sacks in only 6 games. I think a year before he had double digits. But overall, he's limited. He's somewhat limited to what he brings you. He's a pass rusher, and that's pretty much it. So I can't go much higher than a 74. And passing young, still a developmental prospect. In the secondary, they have Kendall Fuller, who they acquired in the trade for Alex Smith. He gets an 84, but he graded out well from Pro Football Focus as a slot corner. Is he going to be able to play on the outside? They pretty much need him to play on the outside. They have Emerson, who's kind of coming on a prove-it deal. Steven Nelson, I mean, like I said, they didn't have many draft picks, so we don't have a lot of rookies here. They have Sorensen, 77. Armani Watts, for me, was their best pick. They did not draft well, to be honest with you. But Watts is a solid pick. He's a good cover guy. We have Eric Berry, 93. When healthy, he's right there for the best safety in football. So hopefully he comes back stronger than ever. Kicker, we have Butker, who's one of the more surprising kickers, along with the Philadelphia Eagles' Jake Elliott. So he got an 85, and Colquitt got an 84. Good special teams here. One of the best special teams units in the NFL. So those are the Kansas City Chiefs. And next up is the Denver Broncos. Okay, the Broncos might have a quarterback here. Case Keenum, for what he did with the Minnesota Vikings. I gave him a set 83 overall. I think it's going to be a good little competition here of 2 quarterbacks I do like for the backup between Paxton Lynch and Chad Kelly. But it looks like Keenum's going to be the guy. It looks like Elway has all the confidence in the world that he'll be able to bring them to where they need to. The running back spot, we have Devontae Booker, got a 76 overall last season, 500 yards from scrimmage. Still kind of surprised I got rid of C.J. Anderson. I probably would have kept him, but they did go out and draft Royce Freeman. So I'm giving him a base of a 72, but he could very well be that guy that's next in line to have a Kareem Hunt type season. I just kind of felt like when I was looking at him, when I was scouting him, he's the kind of guy that needed a good offensive line, and I don't think that the Broncos have a particularly great O-line, but we will see. Fullback Janovich, 75. Wide receivers gave Demaryius Thomas an 87 overall. Last season, Demaryius Thomas finished with 83 catches, 950, and 5 TDs. Really tough to have much more than that with an absolute dumpster fire. Quarterback, Manuel Sanders, we're going to give him an 86. I believe he finished last season with only 500 yards and 2 TDs. Again, it's the quarterback play. They got Cortland Sutton in the second round. He is a 76 overall. It's a really good wide receiver core. You throw in a guy like Carlos Henderson, who's really, really good with the ball in his hands. That's intriguing. An intriguing wide receiver core. Definitely weapons to help out Case Keenum. Not the same weapons he had in Minnesota. There's no Stephon Diggs. I mean, I would take Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen every day of the week over these two guys, but these guys still can perform. The tight end spot, they're going with Jeff Heuerman, 76. We have Jake Butt, who's, I think, a good value pick. He could take a next big step. They drafted Troy Fumagalli from Wisconsin. We gave him a 71. So I think it's going to be a good competition there for who gets the starting tight end gig here. Offensive line, we have Garrett Bowles with a 76. Max Garcia, 69. Matt Paradis, 79. Ron Leary, 83. And Jared Velda here coming over, I think, via trade with the Arizona Cardinals with a 76. All in all, not a terrible offensive line, but also not that great. Defensive ends. All right, we're starting with Derek Wolfe, who we gave a 79 overall. Looking at his performance last year, he had 2 sacks in 11 games. He's really, much more valuable against the run. Shelby Harris here, we gave him a 77. Second on the team last year with 5.5 sacks. Right defensive end, Bradley Chubb, their big pick. Really, really nice pick there. Maybe not the perfect fit for a 3-4, but he can definitely get the job done. It's going to be interesting to see how him and Von Miller how you going to block that. D-tackle, we have Demota Pekka Sr., who graded it well from Pro Football Focus, giving him an 80. Really, really solid against the run. I think he had just shy of 40 total tackles and a sack last year. Clayton McDonald, I believe he's coming from the Bucks. He played pretty decent last season. Left side linebacker, we gave Von Miller a 97. Not the best of years from Von Miller in 16 games. Only had 10 sacks, just shy of 60 total tackles, 2 forced fumbles. So, affected him a little bit. The number 2 player according to the NFL Top 100, which is still one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. He still made the Pro Bowl. I think 97 is fair. I definitely wouldn't go higher. Could go lower, but I think 97, I'm all right putting him there. Interior, we have Todd Davis to 79, Marshall 77, Josie Jewell coming from Iowa, the rookie 73. So we got some guys that can tackle here. Right outside linebacker, Shaq Barrett is getting a 79 overall last year. 4 sacks, 36 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. Shane Ray, who they reportedly said they're not taking up his 5th-year deal. 76 overall. I think he finished with 1 sack last season, but he only played half the year. In the secondary, Chris Harris is getting a 90 overall. A little bit of a down year, but he still is one of the premier corners in the NFL. 2 picks, 7 pass deflections, and 40 total tackles. Bradley Roby's not going to have to step up with Aqib Talib moving on. He gave him an 83 overall. He finished last year with a pick, 17 pass deflections, so really solid there. They got Isaac Yadam in the draft. We gave him a 70. With the free safety, we give Darian Stewart a 77. Led the team with 3 interceptions, had 5 pass deflections, and just over 60 total tackles. Strong safety Justin Simmons is getting an 81 overall last year. 2 picks, 5 pass deflections, and just over 50 total tackles. And they got Sua Cravens in a trade with the Redskins. He will be a 78. Intriguing how they will find a way to use him. Could move him back to linebacker. Kicker McManus is getting a 79, and punter Marquette King coming from the Raiders is getting an 83. So those are your Denver Broncos. Now let's finish it up with the Raiders. And finishing up here with the Raiders at the quarterback spot, Mr. Derek Carr is getting an 84 overall, 3,500 yards, 22 TDs, and 13 picks last year. A little bit of a down year. That's why I have Detter, but I really do think he's one of the better quarterbacks. Still made the Pro Bowl because pretty much everyone makes the Pro Bowl nowadays. But he's still a very good quarterback. Should bounce back under John Gruden. At the running back spot, we give Marshawn Lynch an 84 overall. Finished. He's one of those things when you look at his stats, they look better than what he did. I just found like for more often than not, he wasn't on the field. He had the off field, kept getting kicked out of games. But he did still finish with 1,000 yards from scrimmage and 7 total touchdowns. So I think 84 is right about where he should be. 78 for Doug Martin coming over from the Bucks. And you got a couple other nice little running backs there in Richard and Washington. Fullback Keith Smith, I believe they traded for him from the Cowboys. Wide receivers, so Jordy Nelson, big fish, landed here for the Raiders. It's going to be so weird. This is the weirdest move, seeing a player in a New Jersey, seeing Jordy Nelson wear black. But still, I think, he's a really, really good player. 87 is a good spot. Amari Cooper, who had drastic troubles with drops last year, still had 685 yards and 7 touchdowns. But definitely needs to get his hands right. He's pretty much, I think Nelson Aguilar gave him his hands. Martavis Bryant, who they acquired a trade with the Raiders, is a very intriguing option. He's pretty much Deshaun Jackson, who's 6'4". to capitalize on Derek Carr's arm strength. That's very nice. At least in a Madden, it'll be very nice. They got Seth Roberts here, a couple other players. Tight end, they got Jared Cook, who we gave an 82 overall last year, 600, almost 700 yards and 2 TDs, so it was really productive. 82, I think that's a good spot. Left tackle, Donald Penn, 84. We got Kalisio Semley, 86. Roddy Hudson, 89. Gabe Jackson, 78. And Colton Miller, their first-round draft pick, with a 76. Now, the 76 could be a little generous because he is a project player. I just felt 74 was too high, so it could be a 75. But ultimately, for an offensive line, it's going to be a very solid offensive line here for the Raiders to work with once again. On the defensive side, left defensive end, they have Tank Carradine, 80 overall, coming over from the 49ers. One of the 49ers' best players last year as a rotational edge rusher. So he's gonna do some stuff, I think. Right defensive end, we have Mario Edwards with a 76. Now, I don't know how they're planning on using Khalil Mack. Personally, I would have him play at defensive end, but I just kept him at linebacker for the time being. So that's why Edwards is here with the 76. In the interior, we have Justin Ellis with a 76. Last season, Justin Ellis, I'll tell you about him. He had half a sack, 40. He's just good against the run. He's a clear nose tackle. They got Mo Hurst late in the 5th round. He's a 75 overall. Obviously, has a heart condition. We don't know, how things are going to work out for him down the ride. But I think it'll be decent. Left side linebacker. We have, like I said, we have Khalil Mack chilling there with a 97. One of the best players just last year. Only had 10.5 sacks. Kind of like Von Miller. Both teams struggled, so they didn't have the greatest of stat lines. But you can't underestimate their importance. Arden Key was a 3rd-round pick. We're giving him a 74. They have Jihad Ward here, who we will flip for Ryan Switzer on the Dallas Cowboys. I just haven't checked that yet. Middle linebacker, Tier Whitehead, coming over from the, where'd he come from? The Lions. They got him from the Lions. He's an 83 overall, and I believe they just signed Derek Johnson as a free agent. Derek Johnson's rating was a 77. Just to, like I said, I got to fine touch the roster here. We had Bruce Irvin in 81. Very surprised to see where he was in the NFL top 100. He was like in the 80s, which I thought, I thought he just had a solid year last year. 4 forced fumbles, 8 sacks, 58 tackles. So it could be higher than that 81 if you think it should be. Let me know. In the secondary that needs to get much better, they got Rashawn Melvin from the Colts, who got an 83 overall, graded out very, very well from Pro Football Focus. So that's heavily influenced this rating. Could be a little bit lower, maybe 81. Garrett Conley, first-round draft pick, didn't get a whole lot of playing time last season. But, he was still pretty good as a prospect. I think that even though he only featured in 2 games, should take a big step here in the sophomore season. They got Daryl Worley, surprising signing from the Eagles. Just got arrested for drunk driving, so good luck with that one. Free safety, Marcus Gilchrist. He's pretty solid safety. I believe he's with the Texans last. But he got an 83. That could be viewed as a little bit high. They still got Reggie Nelson here. Obi Melifonwu, the Combine Warrior, could take another big step, very much like Garrett Conley in his sophomore season. And then we have Kyle Joseph here with an 81 overall. Kyle Joseph last season had 1 interception, 4 pass deflections, just shy of 80 total tackles and a sack. Very talented player. Kicker is Tavecchio, 75, and at punter we have Wadman. Again, they got my boy Johnny Townsend, got a great punter. But we just couldn't. I think they got Eddie Panera. I think they got both of them, both my Gators. But I just, it's not enough creative spots to add them in. So look at doing that once you boot up your franchise. So minus, the transactions I need to make for the Raiders. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the ratings you saw here. Same goes for any other team that we broke down here in the AFC West preview of the roster. So just let me know in the comment section below. If you guys are first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.